What is up, guys? It's your boy Lance back at it again with a One Punch Man the Strongest guide. So, I'm thinking of starting up a new series after being recommended by a few of my clan mates. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a rundown of every single SSR in the game. So, no better way to start than the biggest antagonist from Season 1, which is Boros, the Dominator of the universe. So, let's have a look. An introduction into Boros. So, his purpose, his role, he's a tried and true one-shot character. So he deals one of the highest single target burst damage in the game, equaled by Amai and outshined by RMG. And RMG is like 10 maybe 11 months away from the current banner. She's very far away. Maybe not 10 months, maybe 8 or 9. I'm not too sure about the timing, but you get the gist of it. He's the only character capable of taking down CK fast. Now, what I mean by taking down CK is that he essentially one-shot CK. So he's able to basically render an enemy CK null and void, and especially now without the talent system, there's no chance for CK to unyield, so it's a guaranteed kill. Now, he also has extreme longevity. His play sees a little bit of a dip during Zombie Man era, but then he rises back again during Giro meta, and he's still used in CN till today, which is the China server, which is the earliest server. So he's good to pick up if you're struggling with PvE. PvE stands for player versus events. Some people say it's player versus everything, but I think it's player versus events because the other is PvP. So that player versus player counts as player versus everything as well. So it's debatable, but that's just my thought of it. So the cons, he's very heavy investment, and this is the same with every LSSR, SSR that you'll see on this list. Just some are able to be ignored a little bit, and some are not. So Boros is not. He also requires 3 Aspers to reach maximum damage. I'll elaborate on this further in the ultimate section. He also has a high ramp up time. So what do I mean by high ramp up time? Basically, he takes a lot of time to get going. So in the beginning, you will feel he's a little bit underwhelming unless you are able to push resources into him, which I was able to because I hoarded a bit of resources. Specifically in case that I wanted to pull Boros because I had the intention to pull him since the first day. So definitely if you had the resources, your Boros will be quite strong now. Mine is shifting here and there because I'm moving my gears around. So if it's with his core gears, definitely he's very strong. If not, he's decent at best. So you see CK start to shine post level 70, and then you also want to prioritize his keepsake, get as much damage as possible, and yeah, and he also requires primal set to really shine. So imagine if you can one-shot 2 characters for the price of 1 ultimate. Sounds good, right? Then that's essentially what primal set does. It basically allows you to share a portion of the damage from the main target to another target within the same row. So if you deal enough damage to the front line, it will share to the back line, and then you'll be able to kill one whole row. So definitely very good, but the problem with primal set is very RNG dependent. So you'll have to depend on whether you're going to get. First you need to RNG primal gear, then you need to RNG a good tier, and then you need to RNG the stats. So you have so much RNG in between you and getting that good primal set. Eventually it get easier, especially when you unlock Garuganshu as a club boss. But till then, you'll definitely feel a little bit of a struggle to maximize Boros damage. But do be patient, it will definitely be worth it in the end. So let's get straight into the abilities breakdown. So first, his passive. When an ally restores HP, it heals Boros by 50% of that value. And this can occur 6 times per round. So what this means is that essentially Boros can heal if an ally triggers healing. So let's say Mosquito Girl ult, Smartman ult, CK ult, he will receive 50% of that bonus. If I'm not mistaken, it works for suit gears as well. I'm not too sure about this, I'll double check. But it should be, because ally technically still restoring HP. And then next we go to the extreme passive, which unlocks at 5 stars. When an ally restores HP, heals Boros by 70% of that value, and it occurs 8 times per round. So definitely needed buffer. Instead of healing for half your health, you heal for 3/4, so it's quite good. It's quite a good buff, definitely, and you can heal 8 times per round, so it really works if you're playing Glass Cannon or Tank Boros. Either way, it really benefits, because Glass Cannon you get to essentially survive longer, and you'll be able to one-shot more people. And then for Tank Boros, you essentially cannot die, because you keep healing and healing and healing, so it's ridiculous. So your basic attack, which is your normal hit, you hit for 1 time, dealing 120% damage to 1 enemy. This triggers a Self Berserk, boosting your next ability or next damage move by 30%. So it's not bad, but it's not good. This is not the reason why we're using Boros. Like, come on guys. The real reason why we're using Boros is this. His ultimate. So his base ultimate attacks a single target with 3 strikes, dealing 210% damage plus a flat amount of attack. Every Esper ally increased Boros ult damage by 105%, and this stacks 3 times, and Boros considers himself as an Esper ally. So you only need 2 additional Esper allies. So this is why I said in the beginning that it's essential for you to have 3 Espers in the team, including Boros, because you'll be able to really get the maximum amount of damage. So some people prefer defensive style, which is my preference, and I use Malzagard because I have him. Some people prefer more offensive style, so they go for Sky King. So it wholly depends on how you want to play Boros. So Ultra Ultimate. You attack a single target with 3 strikes, dealing 264% damage plus a flat amount of attack. Every Esper ally increase Boros ult damage by 158%. So you have a 53% increase in the passive damage, and you have a 54% increase in the ultimate base damage. So very ridiculous, but the problem is that Boros KS costs a lot. It costs 70 black shuriken tickets, and you need time to actually accumulate it. So unless you are a heavy spender or a whale, I really do not recommend you to get Boros Keepsake. Okay, I will consider reintroducing this if they release the rerun of Boros Keepsake again. So do stay tuned for that, but it's very unlikely that you'll be able to get it in the first round, because the first Keepsake to come will be King during his rerun, and then the second will be Boros. So by then you only have 14, maybe 15 black shuriken tickets. That's about it. So really bad, because you need a guarantee of 70 black shuriken tickets to get the Keepsake, no less. Unless they have a discount system, no less than that. Moving forward. Let's look at the meta. So, as I said before, Boros is the strongest solo front row nuker in the game. So that means that he can do things that no other characters can currently do. And the only other nuker currently in the game is Amaimas, and he's a backline nuker. So if you have a if you have a pesky tank that you want to get rid of, Boros your guy. So his relevancy, it drops a little bit during the Zombie Man era, which is expected to come in about 4 months, and then rebounds again in Gero meta, which will come in 6 months after Zombie Man. Every core will come roughly 6 months, so that's how long the meta will last. So Boros still has quite a lot of time, and then when he drops a bit in the Zombie Man era, you can look to power up other units, and then throw the spare materials into Boros, and then so he's ready for Giro meta. So he hard counters the current meta tanks, notably Malzagard, CK, Alloy, Tank Top Master. So if he outspeeds any of these characters, chances are if you well train your Boros, you'll be able to take them out before they're able to ultimate or they're able to apply the necessary effects to keep their team alive. So he's also very relevant in both PvE, which is his major role, and he has a slightly minor role in PvP because PvP is very AoE dependent. So you have things like King, Golden Ball, Tatsumaki that really dominate PvP because they're able to hit multiple units. So Boros is kind of like the lowest seed of the pack. He's good, but at the same time, like he has his limitations. He can only hit one character. Unless you have Primal Gear, he can hit two. Even then also you have 4 other characters in the field. So it's not really the best. But he has versatility. You can also run him as a tank instead of the traditional damage style. So yeah, or you can run him as a hybrid. He can tank a little bit and deal some damage. So he's very versatile. So he makes up for his lack in PvP for his versatility. So the meta score I will give him is a 7 out of 10. He's good, but he's not essential. He's essential for people who are struggling with PvE, but other than that, not really. And Boros is only recommended for JP players. I know C is going to have its anniversary event next year, and most likely they will put Boros there. So if people who are real Boros fans and you don't have him now, I suggest you skip that. Get other relevant meta character. That's my honest 2 cents. So let's get into how to play Boros. So I'm going to split this into early, mid game, and late. So let's start with early game. So early game, he really shines as a CK killer. I've said this time and time again, and it's true. And it also gives massive help for fresh accounts against event bosses. So your account that previously couldn't do enough damage to Malzagard, to Goribas, to CK, to Guryu, now they're able to with Boros, because Boros does so much. And I said his strength is apparent only after 70 levels due to his high ramp up. And then he's actually pretty bad if you lack a primal set, especially in PvP. In PvE it's not so important because you haven't unlocked Club Boss Boros yet. So you won't be able to... You won't need to hit a backline yet. So Primal Gear is good, but it's not really essential for PvE, at least not from the club boss perspective. From events, if you have something like a backline unit in an event, definitely Primal Gear will be really, really good. So definitely rush to get Primal Gear if possible. If you get good Primal Gear, immediately put it onto Boros, form a set. And then his versatility allows for more liquid comps. So let's say your team is lacking a tank, you can play tank Boros. If you need damage, you got damage Boros. If you need 50-50, someone to fill in both roles, you have hybrid Boros. So definitely really, really good. He requires moderate speed tuning. Some people play him in speed 1, speed 2. So just figure out what's best for you. I'm also figuring out what's best for my Boros based on my team comp. So it's going to take a lot of experimenting and getting used to what you want Boros to do. And then he also slightly lacks in the absence of a talent system. So the talent system actually gives you a lot of damage, a lot of extra skills, and a lot of base stats. So you get a lot of HP, a lot of damage. You get to buff other allies' damage with your group attack buffs, like grappler ally buffs, Esper ally buffs for Boros. So definitely, yeah, with the talent system being introduced into Japan, Boros will really skyrocket. So mid game, this is signaled by the Zombie Man meta. So this is considered Boros lull state. So this is when Boros kind of like dies down and hides, sticks more to event rather than anything else. And then Boros is considered a liability during this time. So you should divert your resources to meta characters, notably Garo. Do be careful, after Zombie Man, immediately the next banner will be Garo. It was the same in China, it's the same in Taiwan, it was the same in C. So follow the pattern, guys, it will be the same in Japan. More likely than not. He's still usable but difficult to fit in espers. Because Zombie Man, his core requires 3 grapplers and 1 duelist, duelist being Zombie Man himself. So you only have 2 extra slots. So you'll never be able to reach maximum potential damage with Boros. So it's better to fill those slots with maybe a support type character or an AoE burst type character, something like King, Tatsumaki. You can also fit in your new Garo if you're getting him. By that time we will have a few more LSSRs already. We might have Metal Bat, you might want to put Metal Bat there as a strong tank. You can actually put defensive units like Alloy also. Because Zombie Man core you only need 3 grapplers, and then your other roles can be anything. So it's very versatile, but it's not really favoring Boros. And then during this time you should shift his gameplay to passive. So only if there is excess resource, then only you invest into Boros. Like let's say you got your main team up and ready, anything that's left, put into Boros, just to make sure that he's keeping up with the meta. Because right after this will be Gyro's meta, which is considered the current late game, because China is just going through Gyro meta, so it's about 1 year ahead. So definitely a long time away. So this is the second latest meta. The current latest meta is bomb meta, but it just started, so there's not much information about it, so we're going to consider this the late meta for now. So this is signaled by Gyro's release as the Esper core. So this is when Esper is really dominating, and it's considered Boros glory days because you're going to have guaranteed 3 Espers in the team, because that's required in Gyro's team. So you need 3 Espers and 1 grappler. And this meta is very squishy because you have mostly Espers, and Espers are not known for their health pool. So unless you're talking about Malzagard, of course. So it's very easy to one-shot. So you have a very fast Boros with Primal Gear, you're going to really shine. So the only other competitor during this meta is RMG, Red Mosquito Girl. And definitely she is way better than Boros. That is without a doubt. Head to head, same stats, Primal Gears on Boros and RMG will win. No doubt. But if you, in the off chance you miss RMG, Boros is still viable, definitely. And then if you build him well, he will really dominate this era very easily. Okay? And then now, let's get into the more technical side of this, like how do I train my Boros? Is it viable to train my Boros now? Should I rush to train? My immediate answer would be to no, you shouldn't immediately train your Boros. Number one, especially if you don't have an immediate extreme training unit. Like if you have CK, then yeah, definitely you can rush to train Boros, that's fine. But if you don't have something that can replace Boros in extreme training, I don't suggest you to rush. So, the limit break cross. So, a total of limit break shards you need is 239 total from 1 to 5 star. And then you need 449 for 6 stars, a total from 1 to 6 stars. And you need 799 from a total of 1 to 7 stars. So definitely a big hike between 5 to 6 to 7 stars. So most players are recommended to stop at 4 to 5 stars just because the cost is absolutely disgusting. And then limit break badges, you need 343 for 5 star, 763 from 1 to 6 star, and 1323 from 1 to 7 star. So it's a lot. So just stop at 5 star. I'm not sure whether most of you will even be able to reach 5 star. just because it's so hard to get Boros shards, because your only source is either through extreme training or you get through Omni shards. And it's up to you whether you want to use your Omni shards or not. Personally, I'm using mine because I'm going to 5-star my Boros, so I'm just going to need I can use all the help I can get, so I'll just do it. But it completely depends on you. Yep. And then let's talk about Awakening. Some people know this as purple stars. So from 0 to 1 purple star, you need 15 Awakening cores. You can get this from the Awakening trial. And then 10 Awakening chips, which you get from the heroic stages. And then you need 3 shards F. These are the purple shards that you get from extreme training. So it goes up all the way up to 4 to 5 stars. And then you're recommended to stop at 3 star for most characters, and then push to 5 star for one main character. Excuse me, sorry. So for me, this main character will be RMG, and it'll be Garo for hero side. So definitely, it's completely up to you whether you want to push or not. I'm not going to force you, nobody's going to force you. It's going to be your own opinion, own choice. But I recommend to stop at 3 stars. Just because it's going to be hell for you to push after that. Not going to it's going to be really, really hard for you to push after 3 stars. Because the material cost is absolutely ridiculous. Unless you're spending in the game, you won't be able to get as much resources as you wish you could. So I have some special tips prepared. So you're not recommended to 5-star awaken more than 1 SSR. As I said before, due to the extreme cost. And then you also, to 5-star awaken, you actually need its keepsake. And you definitely need Red Mosquito Girl's keepsake. This is one thing I want to add. She is so important in the meta that you cannot afford to skip her keepsake. So if you have to choose, I'm so sorry guys, I'm very tired. So if you have to choose Red Mosquito Girl's keepsake. And also for LSSR, you are recommended to stop at 3 star. And only 2 characters should be pushed to 5 star, as I said before. So 1 for hero, 1 for monster. So for me, it will be Garo and RMG. So up to you. I leave the decision to you guys because it's your accounts, but this is my 2 cents. So the major issues and drawbacks. Although Boros has longevity, he really falls down the ladder when RMG is introduced. Not going to lie, his relevancy really dips a little bit, just because RMG can do what he does except better. And he's also not worth to be a focal character, unless you're a whale like Pretty Boros, then yes, definitely. But if you're a normal free-to-play player or you're a small spender, I highly recommend against it. There are better options, just because he lacks AoE, which is required in most metas. So I recommend for you to go, if you want an AoE character that's relevant for a long time, go Ketsu 100%. And he also has a return banner, but it's simply too close. He's either right before or right after Zombie Man banner, so you will not have enough black tickets to secure both Zombie Man and Boros and Garo. So you have to sacrifice one of them, and I recommend you just sacrifice Boros. It's just not worth it. And then also, once talent is introduced, although Boros gets a buff, so does CK. So when CK unlocks Unyielding, if Boros does not kill CK, that reflect will go to your whole team, and you just essentially one-shot your team. So it's a very high risk, high reward decision. And he also falls off very easily if he's not constantly maintained. That means you need to make sure that he's kept up with the meta. You cannot let him fall behind. He needs to try to stay ahead of the pack. Unless you're focusing him only for events, which is what I'm doing personally, then you can offer to slack a little bit. There's no worries about it. But definitely I need him for now because my monster side is incomplete. And then it's only complete with Boros, so that's why I'm investing into him. If not, I wouldn't be rushing him so fast. So, just a few conclusions to close up this episode. Before I start concluding, just want to say, for those people who really want Boros, I get that you want him, and I think his banner is still ongoing for another 2 to 3 days. I'm not too sure. Most likely another 2 to 3 days, because if I'm not mistaken, it ends on the 25th. So it ends on Friday. So you have about 4 days. So Boros is a good unit. Without a doubt, he's a good unit. But whether he is worth to invest or not, personally, I say no. He's good for events. He's good for taking down club boss. Other than that, no. Don't over-invest into him. He's really not a good unit for you to over-invest into. And unless you're a mega spender like a whale or a leviathan, basically whales spend hundreds, close to thousands, and leviathans spend close to $10,000. So unless you're those type of people that can throw money away like it means nothing, highly suggest that you don't invest into his keepsake, because his keepsake will force you to buy money the first time he comes, because it's coming as the second return and you only have maybe 14-15 tickets, that at most, maybe less than 20. I guarantee you less than 20. So just don't, especially for free to play. You cannot gamble with Black Shuriken tickets because you can only get the keepsake on the 70th pool. There is no like, oh, maybe I get a miracle in the first pool. No, there's no such thing. You only get the keepsake in the last pool. And then you also should save up materials once you reach 5 star or 3 purple star. And then after that, just give everything else to RMG. That's my honest opinion. I might reverse my Boros once RMG come, or I might keep him around and then use Boros, RMG, and Amai for club boss, because that seems like a pretty sick composition for me. Till then, I'll just keep using Boros as much as I can. Definitely, he's one of the better characters to come out from One Punch Man in terms of like his overall aesthetic. Really cool. Okay, I am more or less done with this. So let me just open my camera a little bit. So I just wanted to thank you guys personally from the bottom of my heart. I recently hit 117 subscribers. I never thought I would get past 20 subs. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought that I hit a wall after my 26 sub, because that's where all my friends and family stopped. And I'm really grateful that I actually got to tap into this fan base from Philippines as well as from the global server. Genuinely, I'm very happy that you guys have supported me, and I plan to do a small giveaway at 500 subs. Now I know it feels very far away, but you can change that. Bring your friends, let them know of the guides. If they like it, they sub. If they don't, it's fine. I'm totally fine with that. I genuinely want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart again. It's been really difficult to do this content, especially since now it's the holiday season. Therefore, I will be doing one more video on Thursday regarding Deep Sea King, since he has his Christmas event. And then after that, I'll go on a short break, probably for a week, just to spend some time with my family and friends, because it's Christmas and I celebrate Christmas. So I want to take the time to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. Do take care. I hope you'll still be with me when I come back next year. I will be covering the LSSR keepsake video probably in February. Not so soon, maybe in January, in the middle of January, after Silver Fang's keepsake comes out. I'm not too sure. I need to see whether you guys really want it or not, because if I release it too early, I'm scared that you guys wouldn't really care much for it. So do let me know down in the comment section. I love to read your comments. Honestly, it really makes me happy that you guys are willing to interact with me. I'm so sorry for taking up some extra time. I really hope that you guys enjoy this video. I'll definitely be doing more videos about SSRs and their rundowns. If you want me to speed up or prioritize any other characters, let me know, because my SSR list is very fluid right now. and the only set in stone are the meta breaking characters, so the LSSRs that are coming out every 14th or 16th of the month. Thanks again. Peace.